not even a way to exist. It's just
true power, or the root almost of everything that I can wrap my head around at the current point that I'm at would be perception, not just the knowledge itself. It's perception is power. If you perceive, and this was fucking proved by what just won the Nobel Prize in physics.
right.
Like one thing can go up and the other just goes down, kind of fucking Schrodinger's cat thing.
Mm-hmm.
The world is not, there is no cat. It's 50% chance alive, 50% chance dead until you open the box. Okay, I'm going to back this up. The Schrodinger's cat thing is there's a cat in a box. You think there's a cat in a box. Could be alive, could be dead. You kind of start shaking the box. You try to see if it's making noise, if it weighs anything. The scientists were kind of doing that with particles to see what the reason for this up, going down inherentness was, and there wasn't one. So the universe, in layman's terms, is there is no universe. If I look at that stool right there, I see it as green. If I'm not looking at it, it's not green anymore. There's 50% chance it's green, 50% chance it's not green, 50% chance it's alive,
I cannot fucking
50% chance it's dead.
don't understand this at all.
Imagine the box as your life. You can that means that you have the power to open the box and make it alive or dead. It's not alive or dead until you open the box and make it. So again, what I stated earlier about your happiness is different than my happiness. We all talk about happiness like we know what it is, but we only know what it is to ourselves because everyone's experienced it differently, and no one will ever know what anyone else has experienced it as other than themselves because they've made it for themselves. That's how they understand it. Yeah. And so thus you have the power to bring in anything around you. That's what I believe. That's the whole manifestation principle. You can open that box and make your reality because now we have proof that the cat's not alive or dead. Life is what you make it. That cat is only alive or dead once you open the box and see it for yourself and make it alive or dead. Without you doing anything about it, it's not even existent. It's stagnant.
Well, it's almost like ontological solipsism. But there is an acknowledgement, though, that is how it is for other people, and you're operating under the presupposition, even though there's no way to prove this, you're operating under the presupposition that that is how it also is for every other person on this fucking planet, every other thing that can perceive on this planet, and those other things are real, at least to themselves. You know what I mean? So it's this weird having to understand that your own potential and see your own worth and see how much control you do have over at least the way you think, and recognize that you are God and you're creating this path for yourself, exactly. But you also have to keep in mind that every other fucking person you encounter is also God. So it's this weird,
it's going
like
it's
ultimate like self-hype, but also humility.
It's the fucking arc of enlightenment, where there's the fool who's enlightened because who knows nothing, and there's the fool who knows everything, or there's the one who knows everything and is enlightened just as much as the fool. That's the whole yin and yang. Everything in the middle is that realization of where you are, third personing your thoughts, what have you, understanding and coming to that realization that you are one. You just are. It is present. It's inherent, and you have the power of perception, and only as much power as you give yourself and make, and that is a catch-22 in it of itself. But it's that arc, and the fucking the fool who is enlightened, and the all-knowing who is enlightened. The Bob Ross who's like paint the happy face, and the fool who's like Chad me make me laugh. Yeah, you know.
Well, it's an amazing.
He's like, gosh, okay. It's a Wojak. It's a fucking Wojak. It's stupid, but it makes sense in layman's terms.
It's like an amazing, amazing spiritual achievement, and it's very difficult, and I'm not there yet, for a person who has a lot of insecurities and a lot of anxieties to view other people on the outside the same way I view myself. You know, because first you have to recognize that you are a human like all the other humans you see. You need to judge yourself the same way you judge everyone else. And if that's currently negative, you need to change that. But either way, the first step is not isolating yourself from the rest of humanity. So if you have a fucking God complex, it's like, hey, wait a minute. Every other fucking person you see, every person you give fucking coffee to at work, every person you know, they are just as much a god as you think you are. Yeah. That can be applied to them too. You're the same animal. And by contrast too, if you think you're a piece of shit, you know, if you're talking down to yourself all the time like I am, flip that and be like, okay, all these people you love, all these people you sacrifice for, they're the same animal as you. You know, they have potential to be pieces of shit too. And would you talk to any of them the way you talk to yourself? No. So you change that.
That is a huge piece of valuable information for most people.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.